Working with Luke is awesome. One of my favorite customers.
He likes to do stuff with us and play basketball with us, and I enjoy working with him.
I feel like he's always on the cutting edge of what's coming up in farming.
He's a really hard worker. He works here and he has a job as an engineer, and he puts in lots of effort.
He's funny and I can spend time with him a lot.
So probably about 12 years ago or so, our family went through a transition, and at that time it was time for the next generation to kind of carry on. Probably about 7 or 8 years ago we transitioned to organic. That was a family decision to make. There's a lot of choices to decide on to make that happen. It's a different way of approaching farming. It's not necessarily always the correct way, but it is something that we thought was important to us. And since then it's been a steep learning curve. We've had to figure out how to do it, how to manage for it, and how to make a business of it at the same time. In the end, we have to make sure that it stays, in a functional state where it's a business that can function, which is a challenge, it's difficult. But I would say as we go forward, that's our goal. And that's partly why it's a challenge right now. The markets are kind of up and down. They're kind of all over the place, even in the organic world. So I think for us to go forward, it's making sure that we're in a good spot for the ups and downs of that, and to make sure that the farm is resilient and durable through those times, and make sure that we have a plan in place for that.
Luke is very straightforward and honest, which is something I appreciate. I know if he's got questions, he will ask. If I have questions or need help with a project, he will step up and do what he can to help me out. So it's very much, I feel, a two-way street.
There's a lot of things to love about farming, but I would say, when I look at what we do and what interests us, I would probably find my interest being in the science of it and putting the pieces together, like making the pieces fit. So we've tried early season cover crops, oats and peas in the early spring, which can be a hit or miss. And then we've moved to wide row corn, which we thought and we penciled out and to us seemed to be a fit. It gives us a primary crop, but in the gaps of the wide rows of corn, it's preparing for the next year's crop. So for us, that seems to make sense. The best garden starts the year before, and that's a philosophy that we took with that. The output of one is the input of another, and the wide row corn seems to emphasize that and carry that theory forward.
Working with Luke is awesome. One of my favorite customers as far as making up decisions and moving forward with plans, but I find he thinks through his game plan, he bounces ideas off of me, and once he has that decision made, he does not deviate, which makes it, from a sales perspective, really straightforward, but also just the way that I also think through things is very similar.
Ben and Brooke in Zeeland Farm Services, they've really been great. They've been great to work with. I always look forward to seeing Ben. He's given his best to us, and we experience that. Sometimes we feel like we're his only customer. Typically in a regular season, we're ready to make changes up till the last minute, and Ben and Brooke have been there for us, and they have given us the service when we wanted it, needed it, and when we're in a time crunch, they understand that, and they've been very helpful.
Really what it boils down to is having great support with Brooke. That's very important to have good help, particularly now. That always seems to be a subject on every farm, is having good people around doing good, solid work.
Blue River hybrids, they have been part of our system since the beginning, and we know that as each year passes that they will be part of what we do. And Blue River has been reliable, and it's been reliable for years. For us, it's standability, and as many cultivation passes and weed control attempts that we make, if we can run with a hybrid that can endure what we put at it, those are the hybrids that we stick with.
Blue River and Albert Lea Seeds is a great resource, both as support and offerings for customers that I work with, especially in a time like now with decisions being tougher to make, commodity prices being what they are. So The opportunities that they afford in organic and non-GMO space is very important because it gives farmers opportunity to figure out what fits their operations the best.
When it's together and you produce a crop that is, the way you wanted to produce it, it can be super beautiful if it goes right.
What keeps me going day to day is the fact that this job evolves day to day. I have found over my career I like to have varied activities. I'm not great at going in and doing the same thing day in, day out. Execute it and we adapt as needed. It sounds simpler than it is some days, but that's how we manage to juggle between selling seed, contracting non-GMO acres, and meeting other business needs, and also still maintaining a personal life.
So family comes first. Farming is important, and farming takes a lot of time and dedication. Family is first. It's a priority for us, and it's part of our farming operation to make family as part of the culture also.
My favorite thing to do at the ranch is climb the silos, ride the four-wheeler, and drive the tractors with my dad.
It's a great feeling to see the kids playing and being outside and just getting more freedom than they would normally have at our house. It's also cool to see the things that they're learning, the things that Luke's teaching them about farming, about fixing machines, about hard work, and just getting a strong work ethic.
There's never a right time for anything, is what we've learned. So you have to be very intentional about, making time. And absolutely family comes first, and we make time to spend with our families and to make sure that they're a part of what we do. The kids on our farm play a big part. They do as much as they can to support, the everyday work that has to be done. And they're willing to do it, and they jump right in. They have great insight as to what it takes to, be part of the farming community.
I love driving the tractors and going through the fields, just doing whatever there is to have fun and playing basketball here.
And I enjoy working with him. I usually help him out by picking ragweed or pulling ragweed. I also clean up and organize.
He plays lots of sports with us and spends lots of time with us and gives us good advice.
And we make it fun when we can. And anybody can be here at any time and participate. It's an open door for our families to be here, and we hope that continues.